Hello everyone, I'm Chris Segrell, Principal of Christ the King School, and I'm here with
Amy Becker, Assistant Principal of Christ the King School.
And we are, as always, excited to be here with you today for yet another video. This video, we want to just talk about a number of different things. Unfortunately, we've had our first case of COVID infection here involving one of our students. This certainly appears to be an out-of-school exposure. The family's not exactly sure how it happened, but we are pretty sure, almost positive, it did not happen here in school, that it did take place somewhere outside, and the family agrees with that. Nobody was infected in the school. We've kind of really done a thorough contact tracing just to kind of search everything out. The school safety measures and the protocols are working. I mean, masks and distancing, it really does make a big difference. But there are two areas that I just want to address today that are based on this first case. Actually, one of them is, and the other is just due to some other things that we've been kind of noticing or running into here lately. So the first one involves our parent volunteers during lunch and recess, because lunch and recess is probably one of our most vulnerable times because the kids don't have their masks on for lunch, and then they take them off for recess as well. And we have our parent volunteers in there, and Mrs. Becker and I are in there too, and we have some teachers in there. And we definitely want to protect all of us and all of you parent volunteers too. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Becker, who will talk a little bit more about that.
So first off, if you're a parent volunteer, you're awesome. Thank you so much. And we want to keep you safe. So in the bin, if you've been in, you've seen it. We have a bin. It has your assignment folders in it, and Sherry and Julie at the front office give you the folder that goes with your volunteer spot for the day. But we also have a whole stash of these N95 masks, and they are right there ready to be handed out. And so far, none of our volunteers, everybody comes in wearing their own. They're comfortable with their own. But this mask protects others from me. This mask protects the wearer from others. And since at lunchtime and recess, you might quickly open a ketchup for somebody who doesn't have a mask on. That's not an exposure, it's quick. But why not have this mask on just for peace of mind and for our peace of mind? We know we're taking care of you. So these are available. We're going to be asking Sherry and Julie at the front office to offer them to you when you come in. So if you're a volunteer, that'll be something new for you. Please consider wearing one. We want to protect you. You're integral to what we're trying to do to stay open here.
Right. I can't stress that enough. We need you. We want to protect you. So please, we have many of these. Just because you use one, you're not depleting our stock. We have several boxes of these because this is kind of what we were planning on. So please, take advantage of that. The next thing is we've had a few situations come up where a family member or a sibling is being tested for COVID-19 and is waiting for results of that test. And a lot of times, families do this just as a precaution. I don't think they have it, but they have a sore throat, so I'm just going to get a test just in case. Well, if you get a test on any immediate family member, anybody in your household, I mean, if grandma's living with you, if it's anyone in the household gets a test and you're waiting for the results, all the kids in that household need to stay home and away from school until you get those test results back. And the reason for that is, what if we let them keep coming to school for a couple days while you're waiting for the test, and then the test comes back positive? Then we have siblings that are in the school that had been exposed to the positive person at home, and then it just creates more of a risk factor here in the school. So that's what we're trying to prevent. So we've had a few families run into this lately, and I just want to stress that because not everyone realizes that they need to do that, but you definitely have to do that. So if you're waiting for a COVID test on anyone in your family, whether you suspect it's really COVID or not, it doesn't matter. If you're waiting for those test results, everyone needs to quarantine away from school until those results come in. It's not only the students that go to school here, but if you're a parent, don't come in to parent volunteer, you know, those kind of things, it all applies. And that's just to keep everybody safe here in the school as a precaution. We also want to go through the pre-screening questions. And these are the questions that you guys as parents need to be asking every single day before your child comes to school here at Christ the King. So we know you've probably seen them before. The handbook, we recently updated the handbook. I think it was updated on the 14th of September, and it's on the school website. We also sent it out, I believe, last Friday that went out with the update. If you don't have a handbook and you can't find the handbook, please call Sherry or Julie in the office. We'll get you one. But this is the handbook. I think it's about 20 pages. And it covers all of the COVID protocols and the remote learning expectations and protocols. So that's probably the hottest handbook you need to have this year. I mean, we have our other handbook as well, which is probably 80 pages long. But this remote learning, this COVID protocols handbook is really something that is very, very important this year. So please review these things in that handbook when you get a chance. Have the handbook handy. If you're not sure about something, just look in the handbook. It probably covers that, and if it doesn't, just contact us and let us know. We are making updates as we go. This is going to be a living document. We'll update it and put it out periodically because things are changing. I don't think they've changed really that much since we put the one out on the 14th of September, but you never know. So anyway, just to go through the pre-screening questions, I got to have Mrs. Becker kind of go through the beginning ones, and then I'll kind of go through some of them as well.
So if you've been to the doctor or the dentist or even made a hair appointment, you've probably been asked the COVID pre-screening questions. And there's a tendency, because they're being asked in all different places of our lives and expected to be asked before you send a child to school, to kind of get complacent. But we really want you to think about each one of these things before sending a child to school. Just like, you know, your hairdresser doesn't want you to have multiple symptoms and keep that hair appointment. So the first section is if you have any one of the following symptoms: a fever over 100.4 degrees, onset of shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, new onset of a dry cough, new onset of loss of taste or smell. So one of those, you should be staying home, the child should be staying home. Two or more of the following: chills that last longer than 2 hours, congestion or a runny nose, nausea, vomiting or diarrhea, a sore throat, headache, or muscle pain. And I know if, you know, as parents, you're going, geez, my, 5-year-old might complain of any one of these things 3 different times a week. Plus, it sounds like allergies and it sounds like strep. So we're not telling you to run out and get COVID tests all the time. We're just wanting you to monitor, and then you can make a decision based on what you know about your child and the symptoms that are present, so that you can make the safest choice for your kiddo and our school. So those are the beginning phases of the pre-screen.
And I would say if you have any questions or any concerns over those, definitely consult with your pediatrician, just to double check. Like if your child has a fever, well, there's a lot of things that can cause the fever. It may not be COVID, but if the fever persists, you might want to ask the pediatrician what they think. Pediatrician may recommend a COVID test, and that might lead you down that path. Okay, so just covering the rest of the pre-screening questions, and many of you probably remember we had you sign an agreement at the beginning of the school year that had these on there. There has been one additional one that was added, and it is in our handbook, and it's been there, and we just updated. So it's in the updated one as well. But these are all very important too. Have you had close contact with someone who is positive for COVID-19? And close contact, a lot of people kind of struggle with the definition of this, but close contact means contact longer than 15 minutes within 6 feet without a face covering, or if you're residing with someone who is positive. If you're in the same household, you might try to keep away, but you're in the same household, you're indoors under the same roof, that is considered a concern and a risk as well. Next one is, have you been directed to self-isolate due to a positive COVID-19 test result, or for having contact with somebody with COVID-19? If a medical official has advised you to self-isolate, that's definitely a factor, and that's not something we can handle in the school. So if your child has been directed to do that, or anyone in the family, it really applies to the whole household, and we need to know, and your child needs to stay home. The final one is the newest one that we had added, and that's, have you been tested for COVID-19 and currently waiting for test results, or has someone in your household been tested for COVID-19 and currently waiting for test results? This is the same thing we talked about at the very beginning of the video. That's a fairly new one, really, as far as many places are concerned. I mean, it goes back maybe a month, month and a half, but that is really important for what we specified earlier in the video, that if somebody in your household has been tested, you got to keep everybody home. That's what it is saying. So if the answer is yes to any of the pre-screening questions that we just kind of read to you, then do not send your child to school, and instead notify us. Now you can note, it says notify the principal or the assistant. I think it just says the principal. And you can definitely notify me. Email is fine, but you can do the same with Mrs. Becker. But the easiest way probably to do it is just to call the office and let Sherry or Julie know. They always will let us know as well. So if you notify Sherry or Julie, you're effectively notifying myself or Mrs. Becker. And if in doubt, call and check it out, okay? That's the best thing you can do. We want to do everything we can to minimize the risk factor to everybody here in the building. These pre-screening questions help us do that. We can't do it alone. We need your help in doing this. So if you can't remember any of the questions we just talked about, look at the handbook. They're right in there. If you need a handbook or you need any guidance or questions, just call us. Just let us know. We're here to help in any way possible. And I would say, if in doubt, keep your child home, call us, and we'll just kind of advise you on that. Next thing I want to talk about is something that we're kind of relieved that it's over, and it is the engagement review team visit. We were scheduled originally to have this visit at the end of March, and of course we had to cancel it because of the closing of the school because of COVID-19. So we just had the virtual engagement review team visit, and this is probably one of the most different things I've ever been through. The team did everything virtually. They did interviews with students, teachers, parents, the school board, father, Mrs. Becker and I, and our academic readiness committee. Everything was just done virtually. And I just wanted to kind of let you know, we just finished this morning with the outbrief with the leader of the team. And if I didn't have this mask on and Mrs. Becker didn't have this mask on, you'd see us smiling, because it went incredibly well. Yep. I mean, it went so much better than I ever could even imagine. Huge success. The team was so impressed with Christ the King in really every way. We got lots of great feedback, including great feedback on our leadership team and all our efforts and our plans and everything we were doing leading the school, our teachers, and how they were teaching and reacting to the kids and making accommodations and making a true difference in the kids and their education, our strong community, incredible family feel here, just not only in the school, but with the parents and the students, everybody, our commitment to goals and values, how we are very goal-oriented as a school, and our effective use of data and data analysis to make improvements in our programs here in the school in all kinds of different areas and all the subject areas. And then how our teachers and our staff make adjustments to meet the needs of our students. And all these things are just so important to Mrs. Becker and I. This is really the heart of what a school should be doing. So we were so thrilled that these are all just very noteworthy items that the team noticed all throughout their visit. So a full report is going to be sent to us in about 30 business days is what they said. And when that report comes, we're going to share that with everybody. I mean, maybe not the full report. If you want to look at the full report, I definitely can send it to you. I think it's pretty long, but we'll probably take maybe the highlights of it in certain areas and just kind of put it out to everybody. But certainly if you want to see it, we welcome that too. So we are thrilled about that. We want to say thank you to all of you for all your support. I mean, it has been an incredibly stressful, busy start of the school year with COVID-19 and all the procedures and protocols. And then on top of that, we have the visit and all the things we had to prep for that. And since March, it's almost like we're operating a whole new school with everything that's been going on. So we had to just switch gears and prep and get ready for all those things that the team needed to see that way. So we're very happy that it's done. We're just totally thrilled that it went as well as it did. I mean, it went super. The team leader even said this was just such a fun one to do because everything was just so positive and uplifting. So we want to thank everyone that kind of was patient with us, everyone that did anything to help with that. We had parent interview groups, we had the board, school board, Father Cook. We thank all of you, and our students did an incredible job too. We just thank you for your incredible support in helping us be the school that we are. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Becker. She'll kind of cover one last thing, and then we'll just close the video out.
Yes, so we have just one more thing to celebrate, and Mrs. Heithoff, I think, is ready for us to put this aside and move on. But I sat home last night, maybe some of you did as well, and watched the Archbishop's Dinner for Education online. And I got to see our own Mrs. Heithoff up on the stage and receive her plaque and watch the video she made. And it was just a beautiful experience. I mean, I wish we could have all been there to fill the hall and cheer down the, it was just it would have been wonderful to be together. But she just really is a shining star for us. And I think anybody in the room and anybody who watched that link last night would have seen that for sure. She's just one of the blessings, the many blessings that we have here at school, kind of a 1 in a million to have involved with our children. As a parent here, I feel so blessed, and as her coworker, doubly blessed by her. So the week-long celebration of the Educator of the Year comes to a close today too, but we're going to hold on to Mrs. Heithoff.
We are, and I can just add to that because I went to the dinner. Usually they have the Archbishop's dinner and there's well over 1,000 people there, and we always usually go to that, and especially when we have one of our staff members recognized. And we've had several staff members recognized over the years. Mr. Hardigan, I know, was recognized.
You?
Yeah, I know. I was recognized as well, and now Mrs. Heithoff. And there were only about 50 people in the room. They had a small gathering for this just because of the restrictions. But it was truly an honor to be there, to watch Mrs. Heithoff go up on stage, like Mrs. Becker said, and get her award. She is one in a million, and we have a staff full of 1 in a millions, and and every one of our staff members could have been up there as well. We wish we could get everybody recognized, but Mrs. Heithoff, she has been here for a number of years. She truly stands above and beyond and is so integral to this school. So congratulations, Mrs. Heithoff. I'm sure she's glad, like Mrs. Becker said, it's done. Mr. Hardigan was the same way, okay? We don't want the spotlight on us, we just want to do what we do, and she is that way too. So, but anyway, congratulations to her. And just to close things out, there are many of you that are wondering about a few upcoming events that we normally do. Halloween parade. I've been asked, are we going to do a Halloween parade? Are we going to do Halloween parties? How are we going to do parent-teacher conferences? We're working on all of these things, and we're trying to do everything we can to normalize as much as we can. Maybe we can't do a Halloween parade where everyone's out there at the same time, but we can do a Halloween parade that looks a little bit different and kind of keep people a little bit separated or do it in smaller groups. So we're working on the details of all these things, and we will get the word out to you very soon on these things. it's just a lot of details to work through, and we want to make sure we're doing it safely and appropriately and in a fun way too, so everybody can enjoy themselves as well. So just in closing, please continue to understand how busy the teachers and the staff are. It's not an excuse. This year, boy, we are really stretching our teachers so thin, and they're going in so many directions with the in-person learning and the remote learning, and there are some students shifting in and out, and there's some quarantines in and out, and there's some folks that are just waiting for tests. And I just got to remind everybody, if you're waiting for a COVID test, it takes about maybe 2 to 3 days. We don't put you on remote learning for that, because remote learning runs about 1 to 2 days behind in-person learning. And if we did that every time, by the time we put you on remote learning and you just get started, you're back in school. So we don't do that. It's a lot of work for the teachers to kind of make that transition. So for those short periods like that, we don't do that. Short absences, no. It's meant for the longer quarantines, or if you're a family that just, I opt for remote learning and I just want to do it that way for, the quarter, the semester, for weeks at a time, but not for those short-term things. So please understand that. Thanks so much for your patience as we navigate through so many new things here this school year. And thanks for all your incredible support. I mean, it is the parents and your support that makes our school what it is today. And it's that partnership between you guys and all of us here at the school and the students working so hard that makes Christ the King such a unique school. And it's like no other school I've ever seen, ever visited.
Special.
And it is a very special place to be. And we say that so many times to so many people, but it really does come from the heart. We do absolutely mean it. We love being here. It is a joy to be here. And I do have jury duty that I'm supposed to be doing next week. So I just want to appeal to everybody. Please be nice to Mrs. Becker if she's filling in. Now, I may just need to call in, and I might not be called, and I can come in every day. I hope that's what happens. But if not, Mrs. Becker is going to be covering several of my classes.
Who knows what will happen?
Right. Well, I know it's going to be busy. So, but just please understand that. I'll also understand if it takes me a while to answer emails, because I don't know what I'll be doing on jury duty if I'm doing that. But we try to get to you as soon as possible, and I would say literally I get hundreds per day. So, so if it does take a little time, I do apologize for that. I'm going as fast as I can. There's just not enough hours in the day. But please be understanding, and I know you are, and I appreciate that. And we really appreciate your incredible support. So until next time, stay safe, be strong, and God bless.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye now.